Hello everyone, welcome to the last session in our monthly current affairs series, and we're finishing with the science and tech part 2. So now we'll discuss in the part 2 basically what are the things we'll be discussing going forward, some space stuff, some frontier technology, and some miscellaneous things. But this month we only have one topic to be discussed in detail, that is in frontier technology, that is International Thermonuclear Experiment Reactor, ITER. This is a very important one, and this will be important for the time going ahead. Why? It's a very long project, and some updates will keep on coming. For example, the August month update was that 50% of India's contribution in this particular experimental reactor, is complete. Now, another headline will come when something will happen, and this will go on. So, rather, you keep it as part of your static science and tech, because this will you have to read till the time you get into services, isn't it? So, and also what I'll suggest, that while you prepare these things in your current affair, give more attention to these things also. Okay, let's move on. Now, first of all, let us see from the start what is ITER. So ITER is one of the experimental fusion reactor. So there are two types of reaction, nuclear fusion and nuclear fission. We'll see both of them. Now this is a nuclear fusion reactor facility which is being constructed here in France, South France. So the idea of the experiment is to prove this nuclear fusion as a future source of energy. Nuclear fusion is said to be one of the what we'll say hope for the future when it comes to the energy resources, renewable energy resources. Because if we can exploit the energy of the nuclear fusion, then it will act as a catalyst for the energy availability for the world going forward. We can go away from this crude oil and so many things. And they have built world's largest tokamak through an international collaboration. We'll see what a tokamak is. So once completed, it will be the first fusion device to produce a net energy. So a lot of countries have come together in this particular experimental research to produce the nuclear fusion energy. Now tokamak, whatever you need to just keep in mind, tokamak basically it's an instrument through which it's a powerful magnetic field, is a device which produces powerful magnetic field. So ultimately use the heat that is coming from the fusion energy. So after the nuclear fusion, a lot of heat will be released. So how to utilize that heat? Okay? So finally the idea is to produce a controlled thermonuclear fusion power. That's all you need to remember. Now what will be coming into our UPSC examination? They will ask just the very simple thing, what do you understand by tokamak? That's it. And they will give a very different 4 options, and then you have to select the one which relates it to the nuclear fusion and the utilization of nuclear fusion, magnetic field, and that's it, hot plasma. And one of the important instrument in this is this donut shape. You can see this one, this donut shape, pink shaped. In this is the heart of this tokamak. Okay. So just like we need, in just like they have given, this is from ITER website only. They have said just like the normal resources, fossil fuel, nuclear fission, renewable energy, we require to rotate some sort of turbine to get the final energy. Similarly, tokamak also, idea is to harness the energy of the fusion. So a lot of energy comes out of the fusion. So how to utilize that energy, and that will be realized through tokamak. Because ultimately the idea is to use that energy to convert into power. You know? Now, let us come back to the countries that are involved in ITER. In the ITER, signatory to ITER, some of the countries are very central to it, such as India, Japan, France, USA, China, European Union, right? These are the country, Russia. So these are the countries which are very central to it. Apart from that, there are 35 countries in totality. Okay, in majority, you can see all the countries of European Union are involved in it, along with the UK now. So these are the 35 countries which are involved in this ITER. What are the contribution of these countries? So these countries are supposed to contribute, first of all, money. But in the form of the money, they can also provide in kind of support. So around 9/10 of the contribution in kind of support. That means small instruments and these kind of things. Okay, so European Union provides around 45% of the contribution. Remaining countries provide around 6% of the contribution. So they share the cost of production, construction, operation, decommission, and whatever the requirement will be. Now, for example, every country provides some sort of support. For example, what India supports provides, for example, delivery of the cryosat, involved shielding, cooling system, cryogenic system, heating system, diagnostic neutral beam system, power supplies, and some diagnostics. So these are in-kind contributions that are provided by different countries. Okay. And whenever you write an step, whatever India step has taken in the science and tech field, you can obviously mention ITER, sorry, where the India has provided around 2.2 billion worth of the money, or at least pledged this much worth of resources to this ITER. Okay. And which is the domestic agency which is responsible for it? That is Institute for Plasma Research. Now let us very basically discuss nuclear fusion versus nuclear fission. So nuclear fusion, a very unstable, this molecule is there, neutron is bombarded, then it becomes this, then it breaks into different smaller ones and creates a lot of neutrons, and that creates this neutron, and hence your process goes on. So basically nuclear fusion creates a chain reaction, it goes on and on and on. Whereas in nuclear fusion, initially you require a lot of heat and pressure to fuse these two. When this is fused, then a neutron is released and a new atom is created. So nuclear fusion, in starting you require a lot of heat and lot of pressure. Okay? Nuclear fission is obviously we are doing nuclear fission. All the nuclear power plants are working on this principle only. But on nuclear fusion is a technology which is still not being done. Which is one of the most natural source of nuclear fusion that we know, that is in the sun. Whereas nuclear fission we observe, for example, a lot of nuclear power plants that are there. The fission reactor creates a highly radioactive fission products, and that is why one of the challenges of the fission product is also these radioactive materials that are there. So how to dispose this radioactive material, that's a challenge, and while that is not the challenge with the fusion things. Now nuclear fission can initiate chain reaction which can sustain fission reactions for longer duration. Whereas the nuclear fusion, as we have discussed, tremendous amount of pressure and heat is required to join the nuclei together, and hence they are difficult to sustain for long period of time. And that is why they are thinking that the nuclear fusion needs to be given a chance, because it creates, though it requires the initial, a lot of challenges are there. But if we are able to do it, so similarly, just like it happens in the sun, we can have the sustainable source of energy from the nuclear fusion. Okay? So nuclear fusion is one of the hopes for the world, I will say, going forward. So that's the end of the session. One more topic I have to discuss. Now let us very quickly discuss 5 questions and wrap this month current affair. So the first question is from 2020 current affairs, 2020 science and tech. The experiment will employ a trio of the spacecraft flying in the formation of a shape of an equilateral triangle that has one side 1 million kilometers long with lasers shining between the craft. The experiment in the question refers to. So they have given you a lot of options: Voyager 2, New Horizon, LISA, Pathfinder, Evolved LISA. Which among these represent this? You can expect these questions going forward, and hence you need to know a lot of new experiments or the old experiments that are going on, or the interplanetary missions of the NASA and the ISROs and the ESAs. Okay? Now let us see one by one. We will discuss all of them throughout our discussions. The first one is Voyager 2. So Voyager 2 is basically an interplanetary mission, now an interstellar. Okay, in 1977 it was launched to study the outer planets. So it has seen a lot of planets. It has went to Jupiter, Saturn, and now it is in the interstellar space outside the solar system. So that is Voyager 2, so that cannot be the option. New Horizon is also the similar. The idea was to see the Plato, and after Plato it has seen the Kuiper belt, this belt, Kuiper belt, that is after the Plato. So it has observed a lot of objects that are there in this Kuiper belt. For example, that is Ultima Thule. So that was observed by the New Horizon. ठीक है. So the New Horizon is also not your option. Then your LISA Pathfinder. LISA Pathfinder is a observatory that is present in the space, that is used for studying of the gravitational waves, and that is by the ESA. ठीक है, European Space Agency. This is also not the answer. Then you have the Ewald LISA. So Ewald LISA is basically in the equilateral form. You have these spacecraft, and then you have the study of these gravitational waves. So it's a space-borne observatory for studying of this gravitational waves. Okay. So even if you just know a bit about these things, even if you don't know in detail about these things, you are able to get it. Okay, what should be the answers? And that is what is required in the science and tech. You need to know a lot of horizontal things. You need to know a lot of things that you are expected to know. So you need to do a lot of horizontal coverage when it comes to science and tech. More importantly, within that horizontal coverage, you need to know which is the experiment of NASA, which is an experiment of ESA, and one more thing, what is the specific purpose of that particular mission, whether that mission is old or whether that mission is new. You are done. That's all you require. Let us see the next question. Which of the following correctly describes the term prebiotics? This is too much available now in the storage, in the easy days and the big bazaars, and a lot of people use it also. What is prebiotics? You can pause the video and try the answer. So basically prebiotics is nothing but the food for the bacteria that are there in your gut. Those bacteria are called the probiotics, and the food of those bacteria is known as the prebiotics. That's it. So prebiotics are the group of nutrients that are degraded by the gut microbiota. So prebiotic are the non-digestible substance found in the fiber. They serve as a food for the probiotic bacteria and stimulate their growth in the large intestine. So within our intestine, these probiotic bacteria are there. So when you eat the prebiotic, these bacteria have their food, and these bacteria become more active, and they basically help you to digest your food better. ठीक है, that's all the purpose of this prebiotics. ठीक है, चलो. So it will help you to solve all your stomach problems, and that is why prebiotic is preferred. Probiotics are the bacteria that you get from your yogurt, from sugar cream, from kefir, from probiotic milk. They will contain a lot of beneficial bacteria that are get into our body, and for these beneficial bacteria, these are the things that are the food for these beneficial bacteria: esophagus, garlic, banana, and these things. So these are known as the prebiotics. So the answer is A, the food ingredient that encourage the growth of the beneficial gut bacteria. Next question is, which of the following is a function of the liver? अच्छा, why I have said such questions? Because you also need to know, बहुत basic में, sorry, this is India's map. You need to know in our body what is the major function of each and every organ, the big organs, especially the digestive ones. Because UPSC can ask simple questions from NCERT biology, they can ask such questions in the future also. So thoda you need to just see these things as well. So the first question is regulation of the glucose levels in the blood, production of bile, production of cholesterol in the body. These are the things you are expected to know. Thoda you are expected to know. Now, if you see the first function, is it the function of liver? Answer is no. The liver function is not the regulation of glucose level in the blood. That is the work of the pancreas that secretes the hormone, that is the insulin. So first option is wrong. When you get the first option wrong, you have only these two. You don't have to check the second one, you only need to check the third one, that is production of cholesterol in the body. And yes, that is a function of the liver. In fact, liver performs a lots and lots of the functions. Some of the important functions are production of the cholesterol, storage of the micronutrient, production of the bile, that is very very important, protein synthesis. ठीक है. So liver is a very important organ in our body. So answer will be 2 and 3. So what I'm saying is, this question may not be too much helpful for you, right? Because it serves only with small purpose. But what you need to do from your 9th class or 8th class NCERT, at least read the chapter on the human organs. One to two things about each human organ you should know, so that you can eliminate and you can get your question right. UPSC just wants you to get that question right if you have studied even a small bit of it. That's all. They don't want you to get into too much detail of it. Otherwise, that question will become from a no reason. This question, though very small and must form the part of the must, but I will say these questions become the part of the strive. Because a lot of aspirants prepare very hi-fi and very tough things in science and tech, but they tend to miss out on these smaller things. This is small NCERT preparation. We will see one question, the 5th question that I was highlighting. Let us see one more question. With reference to the vaccine-derived polio, consider the following statements. Now, in the last session of science and tech, we have discussed about these vaccine and the vaccine-derived polio. है ना? So, it occurs in the children due to the administration of the faulty vaccine with the live polio virus. It occurs in the children due to the administration of the faulty vaccines with the live polio virus. Second, for a country to be declared polio free, the cases of both wild and the vaccine derived polio should be reduced to 0. India has been declared polio free by the WHO. Now, out of these 3 statements, you can pause, then you can try the answer. Out of these 3 statements, you know the third statement is right. Yes, India is declared polio free. That's the exact statement we have read also. So statement, this becomes only C or D. So you have to check 1 or 2. Out of 1 or 2, even if you know 1, then also you get it right. Now, for example, if you see the second statement, for a country to be declared polio free, the cases of wild and the vaccine derived polio should be reduced to 0. And that is a wrong statement. Because we have seen that in Nigeria is declared as the polio free. The third last country to be declared so. But still the vaccine derived incidences are still there. Hence the statement 2 is wrong. When the statement 2 is also wrong, then this becomes also wrong. These were already wrong and your answer is only 3. So even if you don't know the first one, you are able to solve this question. Okay? Now we have already discussed it. The first statement also. Why this vaccine derived polio virus happens? First of all, because of the OPVs, and secondly, it is just because of the lack of vaccination throughout the population. If sometimes that is not there, then it creates a problem of the vaccine derived polio disease again. Then one thing is to be declared as the polio free, and the second thing is to say that we have eradicated it. So when you get away this vaccine derived one eliminated as well, then you can say that your polio you have eradicated. Till the time you will be only polio free, if you can just eradicate the wild polio one. Okay? So last session only we have discussed in detail about the polio. That is why I have not discussed that in detail. You can see that session again. Okay? So answer will be 3-1. Now let us discuss the last question that was there in the 2020 UPSC. Which of the following statements are correct regarding the general difference between the plant and the animal cell? So difference between the plant and the animal cell. Now it is a very very easy question. Very easy question. But if you don't recall what you have studied way back in your 7th or 8th class, 6th class science and tech, science only books, then you may not be able to get this answer, and that is why you need to read it. So very easy question, the difference between plants and the animal cells. For example, everybody knows, those who recall, that plant cells have the cell wall and the animal cells don't have the cell walls. The plant cells have a very huge vacuoles, while the animal cells have very small vacuoles that are there. Plasma cells, plasma membrane, both of them have the cell membrane or the plasma membrane. And that's the very simple information you require to solve this question. The first option, plant cells have the cellulose cell wall while the animal cells don't. Yes. Plant cells do not have the plasma membrane while the animal cells do. Wrong. Mature cells have the large vacuoles while the animal cells have the small vacuoles. Right. So 1 and 3 becomes right and second becomes wrong. So this was the question I wanted to highlight. These are the questions that you can get it right. I'm not putting it into a must category because a lot of us focus too much on these science and tech and tough things, but we tend to forget these small things. But UPSC is asking at least 1 to 2 questions from the very basic science and tech. You cannot afford to miss that one. Okay? Chalo. So let's wrap the session. So we started a discussion on ITER, that is International Thermonuclear Experiment Reactor. We discussed what is a tokamak. Then the contributing countries that are there in ITER, sorry. Okay? Then difference between the nuclear fusion, the nuclear fission. Then the 5 questions, among which Voyager 1, New Horizon, LISA Pathfinder and Evolved LISA. Then we have discussed prebiotics versus probiotics, then the functions of the liver, and then the difference, what is the difference between eradication and the polio free and the vaccine derived polio, then the difference between plant and the animal cell. So that's all for the discussion for today. So with this, we finish our August month current affairs. All the sections are done. There are a few things which I would like to highlight, that from September month onwards, you must have seen that in the August month I have not referred back to any current affair from the previous year that we have discussed. But from September month I will be referring back to the August 2020 if anything repeats itself, or if I want to give reference to anything that was discussed in the August 2020. One thing also I want to tell you, revise and revise. Revise the 15 sessions, 15 PPT, 15 PDFs that are being uploaded. So revise all those 15 PDFs first of all. These will be very crucial and very helpful for you going forward. Secondly, the 75 questions that we have discussed. All the 15 videos comes up with the 5 questions. है ना? So for example, two sessions on indexes and places, 2 governance, 2 IR, 2 economy, 2 ecology, 1 polity. So 11 sessions and plus 2 science and tech, 1 defense and 1 art and culture. So in totality, we have discussed 15 sessions. 15 sessions into 75 questions. So if you revise these 75 questions, I'm pretty sure that it will add a lots and lots of the knowledge to your knowledge base. I'm very sure about it. And imagine that if you can do it for the coming 6 months, 75 into 6, you will around 450 questions with very proper explanation, with selected questions. Okay? And it will really help you in your preparation. So with this thought, let's finish this particular month current affair. We'll see you all again in the September month current affair. Till then, revise it. We'll have at least 3 to 4 to 5 days ka hiatus in between. Then we'll start the September month very quickly. We'll also try to cover up very quickly whatever we are behind 1 to 2 months, but we'll try to cover up very quickly. So till then, revise and see you in the September month. Thank you everyone. You can put all your doubts in our chat, in our comment box. We keep a lot of track on it and we will reply you back. Thank you. See you in the September month. Bye bye.